Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Hope yours is going well. We got more Seahawks stuff to get to today, and we've all had a pretty decent amount of time to think about and talk about the offense and what they did well on Sunday, because there was a lot to be happy about. 28 points, one turnover, 380 yards, general efficiency, balance. There was a lot of stuff to like about the way the offense played on Sunday against the Colts. And I definitely want to continue to emphasize the positives because I think that on the whole, Sunday's game was a positive development, but that doesn't mean it was perfect, and that doesn't mean there isn't some stuff to talk about in the negative camp, or at least the potentially negative camp. So this video is going to delve into one of the areas where the offense struggled a little bit. So keep in mind, before we start here, I want to be very clear. I think the offense did a lot of good things on Sunday, and I was generally happy with what we saw. Again, 28 points against a good defense on the road, 380 yards, one turnover that was a great defensive play more than it was a mistake on the part of the offensive player who fumbled it. I can definitely take those results in the first ever game that Shane Waldron is calling plays. But that doesn't mean we can't spend some time talking about the stuff that didn't work so great. And what didn't work so great for the Seahawks on Sunday against the Colts had to do with the pass blocking of the interior offensive line. So I don't have exact 100% trustworthy numbers on the offensive line play from Sunday, but according to what I've seen so far, Russell Wilson was pressured / hurried on 13 plays on Sunday. So he was demonstrably affected by the pass rush on 13 plays against the Colts. And he dropped back to pass less than 30 times in that game. If you add up the attempts plus the sacks plus the unplanned scrambles, he dropped back to pass probably about 29 to 30 times, somewhere in there. So on just under half of his pass attempts, he was getting pressured. Now, he made some great plays when he was pressured. I think the touchdown to Gerald Everett and the first touchdown to Tyler Lockett both came under duress. But that doesn't mean it's great when your quarterback is getting harassed on almost half of your pass plays. So let's talk about why that happened and what we need to watch out for going forward. First, though, before I get into all that, I want to say there's a huge caveat here. The Colts' strength of their defensive line is very clearly on the interior with DeForest Buckner. He is by far their best player on that line, and it makes sense why your interior offensive line would have a much harder time than your tackles. However, Pro Football Focus, which is a website that intrigues me, but ultimately I think they do have some gaps. So let me also be clear about this. I am not trying to say that PFF is gospel. However, when they say something, I at least listen to what they have to say and at least consider the possibility that they're onto something. Excuse me. So the PFF pass block grades for the Seahawks interior offensive line was not good on Sunday. Gabe Jackson was less than 48, and 100 is the maximum score here. 48 basically means you barely belong in the NFL and should not be starting. Now, this is just in pass blocking, and this is just for one game, but 48 is bad. Damian Lewis was 32. 32 is really bad. Kyle Fuller was 39.4, which is, again, quite bad. And Ethan Posick was 6.6, the lowest that Brian Nemhauser of Hawkblogger had ever seen. It's actually not the lowest I've seen, but it's very, very, very bad. Now, none of these four players was actually graded out overall as being terrible, I don't think. Gabe Jackson got great grades for his run blocking, and I believe Damian Lewis got credit for good run blocking as well. And Fuller and Posick, well, they were better in run blocking than they were in pass blocking, at least. So there was some positive stuff there, but you got to protect your quarterback, especially when you know he's the linchpin to your offense. So I'm looking at this, and it seems like something to at least be a little concerned about. Not something to hit the panic button over. Well, I'll take that back. You should definitely hit the panic button about the center position, but that panic button got hit a while ago anyway, so hitting it again isn't going to really do anything more, right? The panic button only gets pressed once. Now, what I'm about to show on this video is definitely not any kind of official metric and should be taken with a grain of salt. These are just assorted people on Twitter who are posting probably something they put together based off what they saw in the game and maybe overheard from somebody who was trying to keep track of these things. But this tweet says that Gabe Jackson gave up 4 pressures in the Colts game. And this tweet says that Damien Lewis gave up 2 pressures in the game. Now, I couldn't find anything for Kyle Fuller, but Ethan Posick, this is depicting, by the way, his 6.6 pass blocking grade, I believe gave up the 1 sack, but he only had 9 pass blocking snaps, so it's bad. So I'm not going to say that this is something we need to worry about overall yet. We do need to worry about center because we knew center was a problem going in anyway. Gabe Jackson, Damien Lewis, I believe they will be better, but assuming those numbers that I just showed were correct, which I can't say for sure if they are or not, but they are certainly believable. If Gabe Jackson gave up 4 pressures in one game and Damien Lewis gave up 2, you have yourself a problem because, yes, they were going up against elite competition, DeForest Buckner, but here's the thing. There's going to be more elite competition later this season. We play Aaron Donald twice, who is the best in the world. We play J.J. Watt twice, who I'm not going to say he's elite anymore, but he's very good and can be a problem for us if we allow him to be. We play Stephon Tuitt and Cam Hayward, both Steelers. We play Jonathan Allen on Washington. So there are other really good defensive tackles we're going to go against as the season goes on. And these guys need to be playing at a high level. So the center thing, look, I think we all kind of saw that coming, right? I don't think there are very many people out there who believe in Fuller or Posick. Maybe there are a couple people out there saying that, hey, I think Fuller played okay. But other than that, and that's a pretty small minority in my experience, you're not going to see a whole lot of people who expected those guys to be good. But there was an expectation for Gabe Jackson and Damien Lewis to be good. And I'm not saying they were bad, but they may have been bad in this area. And that's something that needs to be cleaned up. I'm not trying to take away from what the offense did well on Sunday in terms of protecting Wilson enough to make the plays that needed to be made. There were plays out there where Wilson got pressured but still made a big play. Like I said, touchdown to Everett, touchdown to Lockett. I think he was pressured on both of those plays. But getting pressured on almost half of your dropbacks is not sustainable, and it's nowhere close to where we need to be if we want to truly say that we're doing a better job of preventing Wilson from getting hit, which was part of the mission statement this offseason. So, just an area of concern right now. This week against the Titans, we play against defensive tackles that are not nearly as good as DeForest Buckner. So we should see a much better product from both guards and, honestly, whoever plays center as well. So interested to see how they do, and also interested to see how they do later in the season when they have to play the Aaron Donalds of the world, the Stephon Tuitts, the Jonathan Allens of the world. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Let me know what you think down below. Peace out. Go Hawks. PFF, they get things wrong sometimes. I absolutely believe that. I've seen PFF do stuff that I immediately just toss out because it sounds ridiculous. And I'll say this. The sack that Posick gave up may have not really been his fault. It may have been Damien Lewis. But I don't think PFF is capable of being so wrong that they can give somebody a pass block rate of 6.6 and actually have that player have played well in that game. See you guys later. Go Hawks. More videos coming later today.